Okay, hello and welcome to Ready Up's GTA retrospective. Today we're looking at Grand Theft Auto 3. I'm Simon, and I've got Tony with me.
Hello.
And let's just dive straight in.
Okay, so this is GTA 3, and we're playing the iPad version due to a series of technical hiccups. This is the easiest one to capture, which is perhaps quite surprising. But, oh yeah, I forgot the cop cars outside the police stations are always locked.
It was locked, aren't they? They're pretty much the only cars in the game. Actually, I think there's a few different cars dotted around this Liberty City that you couldn't open. That's not something I remember from later. Like San Andreas, I'm pretty sure there weren't that many cars locked.
Well, you could just smash the window, couldn't you? So anything later that you needed to get. That's
true, yeah.
Well, I have to say, I mean, first of all, the fact that this is on the iPad is quite amazing. So if you're thinking this guy sucks, it's a lot more difficult on the iPad, actually, I've found. There we go. It's a tour of Chinatown in an ambulance.
Yeah, I remember that about this this first GTA 3. Looking back at the time, it was pretty amazing, and it still is incredible just to think about what a leap there was from GTA 2, which was top down, to GTA 3, which is this incredible 3D world. Oh my lord!
It's all gone wrong, and it's okay. Game on, we're back on our wheels.
But yeah, an abiding memory of GTA 3 was driving up and down this first island, the west coast of this island, where you can see the second island across the water, but you can't go there for quite a long time in the game. It's just going up and down that sort of main road on the west coast.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I just remember when the sort of game zooms out from the first cutscene and you're on the bridge, and you're just like, oh my god, this is the game, man. You know, this is just fantastic. The thing I do remember, though, also being a bit dodgy, is this area I'm driving around now. This is a kind of very early part of the game. This is the sort of Mafia run area. Like, there's a Mafia Sentinel car there, just in front of me. I'll try and jack this guy, and he'll probably have an Uzi. But one of the things you find was that this area, once you had pissed off the Mafia as part of the mission, was just undrivable. You go anywhere near it, and your car will get destroyed in about 5 seconds.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
So there were missions, like, you know, the ambulance missions and stuff where you had to drive around.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't do them if anybody was injured in the Mafia zone, because as soon as you walked in there, you just had rains of fire coming down on you. This actually, by the way, was my favourite car in this entire game, the Mafia Sentinel.
The Mafia Sentinel was pretty sick. Did you go make a point of going and doing all the extra sort of taxi and ambulance missions? Because I always did in these sort of PlayStation 2 Grand Theft Autos.
I did as well, actually, yes. In the earlier games, I always made a real effort to do that. But in the later games, because they got so big, there was almost too much. Yeah, and you see, here's the closed-off bridge. Because I haven't played far enough in the game, which is a shame, so we're stuck on this one. I have to say, this feels like a pretty small map now, and particularly this little section of it. But the way I felt when I first saw this was just like incredible, like a tingle in the old boy parts.
Yeah, I mean it is small, but at the time it didn't feel so. We didn't have a point of reference. But after playing GTA 4, which is, you know, it's also Liberty City. It's ostensibly the same place, although, you know, it's very different world maps, but it's supposed to have the same tone and atmosphere. It's a lot smaller. I mean, you could memorize every single sort of road in GTA 3 fairly easily because we're so used to open world games now. But I mean, let's not forget this was released in 2001, so I mean it was 12 years old, and I think it's still. I mean, I booted it up on the PC recently, and it still. I think it doesn't look that great, but it still plays pretty nicely, and it looks, compared to a lot of the games I play on my laptop, especially a lot of indie games. I mean, it's still, graphics aren't that important. I mean, it still plays pretty nicely.
Well, I actually think the graphics are not too bad. Particularly this iPad version. I think if anything, it's sharper by quite a long way than the PS2.
It's sharper than the PC as well. They've done something with aliasing, I think.
Yeah, it's nice. And I admit, I remember the PS2 was much more of a blur fest. Now let's demonstrate something that was always a pain in GTA 3. I fell in the water and I'm dead.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah,
can't get out. No swimming.
Couldn't swim until San Andreas, I think. I don't think you could swim in Vice City either.
No, you couldn't swim in Vice City, which is a bit bizarre. I mean, imagine going to Miami and not being able to swim.
I always found that was particularly treacherous in GTA 1 and 2 when you were by the edge, and the controls were very fiddly, and sometimes you wouldn't know which way your character was facing. yeah, it's weird not being able to swim. But I suppose it's not the first game.
Funny how, in a way, despite this game going forward, like 50 large leaps forward, there was no multiplayer, was there, in this version at all? And GTA 1 and 2, you could happily play with your friends only on a local network, nothing like Xbox Live, but I remember playing GTA 1 or GTA 2, I can't remember which, with a load of mates over, the old network type of cable, the funny, TV aerial cable. We had a network set up like that.
Good lord, I literally have not experienced such a thing.
You're far too young.
No, I think it's probably just not that experience. I'm probably old enough, regrettably, but yeah, it's...
Oh no, I've got in the sea again.
I don't remember that lighthouse at all. Is there any way to get to that lighthouse?
I don't believe there were any boats.
There aren't any boats.
As far as I can remember, yeah. And that was annoying though, I've just drifted 12 foot into the sea and drowned because I can't get out. It's just sort of amazing to think that was reasonable. The other thing I'm trying to course, I'll see if I can do it in a second, is the classic GTA car rolls on its roof and catches fire thing.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can course that while we chat away. We wanted to talk a bit more about GTA 1 and 2, didn't we? But again, technical issues, very difficult to get those to actually record.
Yeah, it was quite difficult to get them to record. But hopefully we'll be able to do some videos on those too. But if not, I mean, there's quite a few GTA games just to run through, which we will be able to record. So, I mean, for a lot of people, GTA 3 is where it started. I think, I don't know what the sales figures are, but GTA 3 was much more of a cultural event than GTA 1 and 2 were. I mean, my recollection of GTA 1 and 2 was, I mean, I was there from pretty much the start. I mean, the official PlayStation magazine did a demo on their demo disc, of GTA, and that was the first I'd heard of the game. And it was a 10-minute, or possibly 5-minute time-limited demo. Just literally start the game and you've got 5 minutes. You can go off and do 1 or 2 missions. And some friends and I played it. We must have been about 12. And it just blew our minds. And yes, the violence is part of that. But this is something I think I've heard you talk about before, and it's something I feel quite strongly about as well. The first association most laymen have with Grand Theft Auto was the violence. Which I can understand. But the biggest selling point of it was always freedom to me. That was the striking thing about the first GTA in whatever it was, 97, 98. It just plonked you down and said, right, off you go.
Yeah, and to illustrate your point about violence, I'm just running someone over, just for the fun of it.
Well, they had it coming, to be fair.
But this is what I always say to people. People always say, "Oh, isn't that the game where you go around running over pedestrians and killing people?" Well, yeah, if you want to, you don't have to.
Yeah, sure. I mean, and having that option there, in the back of your mind, I suppose, always it helps with. I don't know if immersion's the right word, but it adds value. It kind of enriches it. Makes experience richer, I would say.
Yeah, I was thinking of the old Driver games where the whole city was empty and it just felt weird.
Yeah.
I mean, this city feels very empty compared to GTA 4 in terms of amount of traffic, amount of cars, whatever. But it's not empty, It's not an empty city. There's all these guys here wondering about, if I honk the horn, will this guy run away? No, maybe they only introduced that a bit later. Oh, no, there we go. He's run away and smash.
That's certainly seen that happen before.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the freedom was a big part of the pull for me. But I think you've got to have you're putting people in an authentic world with guns and cars and so on and so forth. And they, from day one, they could have gone down the road of having pedestrians run away from the cars. Although maybe that might have taken more processing power on the original PlayStation 1 game. Maybe it wasn't an option, but I'm not quite sure. What does it take more power to do? Have people just get run over or some sort of pathfinding that makes them avoid the car? I don't know, but having that option there means that you have a choice all the time. You could go, totally loud, for want of a better term, and crashing the car into people and knocking them over and having the police chase you all the time. We can keep a low profile. You've managed to
finally managed to roll the car over onto its roof while you were talking. It took me a long time actually to do that. I remember when I played it before and I wasn't trying to do that. It happened every 3 seconds.
Yeah, and the other great thing I thought about Grand Theft Auto is there's reasons to explore. They hide little things away, and it sort of gives texture to the world. Like I remember when you got to the final island on GTA 3, there's the dodo on the runway, which is a fairly useless plane.
Yeah, somebody could make it fly back for about 10 minutes. I've seen videos of it. There was a technique, you could sort of keep bobbing it down and then sort of floating it back up, and you could just about get it running. But yeah, that thing was tough. It was kind of fun because it was so useless. It was almost a mini game in itself, trying to see how far you could fly it. It's a shame I haven't played this far enough to unlock that. I have to admit, as much as I like the fact they put this on the iPad, it is, oh, I'm getting in trouble, it is actually slightly tricky to play. I mean, it's sort of too many buttons really for a device without any buttons.
Yeah, I mean, I got it on the iPhone, I think, and I bought it just because I couldn't believe I could have it in my pocket, but yeah, I found it very difficult to actually play.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine for this. I'm just sort of wandering about, just trying to, dodging guys with baseball bats. I don't know who they are. I can't remember the storyline of why. Oh, they might be triads. I think I've upset them with the first few early missions. As is, oh god, I'm about to get my head kicked in. This isn't good.
I remember having a great moment in GTA 3, and the same thing also happened in GTA 2, where I'd finished a mission where one gang really hated me. And then I was just sort of driving around, but the game hadn't reset all the characters from that mission. So I was just driving around idly, and this happened in GTA 2 and in GTA 3. A guy just ran up and shot me to death while I was sat in the car at like a junction. Because he was left over from the previous mission.
Oh yeah, it's funny when you see random things like that. I mean, that's one of the things I love about GTA. Sometimes the stupid, glitchy things are as fun as the intentional stuff.
Yeah. I always loved the radio stations as well. I always thought that was pretty cool. Did I hear you right the other day? You said you used to put on Nirvana or something.
Yeah, on the PC version, I had a Nirvana album in my CD tray. And to be honest, I have to be honest and own up now. GTA 3 was the first GTA I actually bought. The others were like acquired as a student on PC, so they were like downloaded from somewhere, okay. You know. So apologies to Rockstar for that. But ever since then I've been buying every one, and in fact I bought GTA 4 on 2 different consoles, so I think it's okay. I think we evened out. But yeah, I used to have it on this cracked version on the PC, so I didn't have to have the CD in, and therefore I could have a music CD in. And this van is never going to make this jump, but let's have a pop. Oh, it did make it! To my great surprise.
It probably wasn't the cleanest jump, but it made it.
I've seen better.
You know, the interesting thing about Grand Theft Auto, and it's something that I'm aware of with GTA 5 when it comes out, and I'm going to try and approach it with a slightly different perspective. But when I play the Grand Theft Auto games, I don't muck around usually. I blast through it, start to finish. I do all the missions, do the side missions, and then I kind of just leave it there. And I might open it up every now, I might boot it up every now and then and just have a quick wander around. But I lose interest very quickly. But when I watch somebody who isn't me play it a lot of the time, somebody who's perhaps a little bit more casual about it, they'll boot the game up and they'll play for an hour, dossing about. You know, they'll go and find a rifle, they'll shoot a bunch of people, get the police on them, kill a bunch of police cars, then die. Then they'll respawn and they'll do the whole thing again. And I think that I sometimes have forgotten that. I've taken my GTA gaming too seriously almost. Sometimes it's good to play around, you know.
Well, one of the criticisms of GTA 4, which I'm sure will come up when we actually play GTA 4, is that people said it was a bit too serious, you know. And GTA 5, a lot of the trailers appear to have been aimed at that criticism. You know, lots of like jets blowing things up and guys with massive armor and miniguns, and that looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. Like more light-hearted stuff, you know.
Yeah, it's having a reason to play about, I suppose. But I mean, GTA 3 was probably a slightly more bare world than Vice City and San Andreas, simply by virtue of the fact it was the first time they did the big 3D one. So I mean, but people could still. I'd seen people come over to my house and play it, and they just sit there and play for an hour, and they just muck around. Like if you give probably shouldn't do it, but if you give like a kid the game, however old, they'll just muck around quite happily for about an hour. I mean, the point I'm making is it's like a playground, really. That's part of the huge appeal of these games. And a rival franchise like Saints Row has kind of taken that too far for my palate. You know, the thing, in the same way that, oh good lord, in the same way that the violence, the option for the violence sort of adds a bit of texture to the world, I also think that, you know, the option to muck around, but not taking that option of mucking around and taking it quite seriously and going off and doing all the missions, that adds a bit of texture to the experience as well, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think I will, as you say, probably I'll fire into GTA 5 and I will go through mission after mission. I might do one of each type of side mission just to see what they're like. But I'll just, I'll rock right through it. But I think, that's what brings people back to these games, isn't it? Just and the multiplayer obviously is going to be enormous.
Yeah, sure. I think if you think about, we played GTA 4 for years, and ultimately in GTA 4, the most fun place you could go to was the airport in multiplayer. Whereas, I mean, GTA 5, it looks like it's going to have, many different options for mucking about. You have fighter planes and, I don't know, people trying to fly on top of the blimp and quad bike races and dirt bikes and parachute jumps from the top of the mountain and all that stuff. So there'd probably have a more scope for that. But perhaps GTA 4, it's set in Liberty City as well as GTA 3, which is a sort of proxy for New York City. It probably shares, in comparison to GTA 5, it will probably look as kind of plain, maybe, as GTA 3 does next to San Andreas. I mean, that's not to sort of denigrate GTA 4. I wouldn't say it was a plain experience at all compared to other games, but I think compared to GTA 5, we might feel that way.
Yeah, I mean, but if things hadn't moved on after 5 years, you'd feel quite disappointed, really, wouldn't you? So that's something that's got to happen. But I've said a number of times, if it was GTA 4 with a lick of paint, I'd be happy with that. But it's not, is it? They've gone mad and really done everything by the looks of it. So that's going to be pretty good stuff.
This guy Claude from GTA 3, he does actually look like someone I know, and I only noticed it today when I was sort of booting up the game. I won't say who it is because I'll get embarrassed. But
I had to laugh, actually. I went to meet a friend of mine. We were going to do that. That you can go up and over the O2, the Millennium Dome?
Yeah.
I went to meet a friend of mine and he turned up in like green combats and trainers and black jacket. And I said, have you come as the guy out? But it really is. I mean, this guy, I have to say, CJ, because you could customize him, he didn't really have a kind of recognizable look, did he? I mean, he was, sort of like your average kind of black guy. But you could do whatever you wanted with him, couldn't you? But this guy is like really famous, and I really like the fact that he was like a silent character. And I mean, obviously now the characters are much more filled out, so it doesn't matter that the characters are not silent. But this guy was just, everyone would just talk and talk and talk, and he just shut up. He was like the strong silent type.
There's something very iconic about him. I mean, the first two Grand Theft Autos, the graphics weren't good enough to have like a particularly iconic character. I mean, you never saw their face; you just sort of top down. Vice City, Tommy Vercetti, the main character, he was like a parody or an homage to a combination of Scarface and Ray Liotta in Goodfellas, I suppose.
Yeah.
So he had less identity as a result, and as you say, CJ and San Andreas could be customized however you want. So I suppose between Nico and in GTA 4 and Claude in GTA 3, those are the two most iconic Grand Theft Auto sort of characters.
In fact, we never knew this guy was called Claude either, did we? He never had a name in this game.
No, that's right, yeah. It was San Andreas, I think you find out, don't you?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. So a little reference to him in there, yeah.
Yeah, he pops up, I think. He's in one of the missions in San Andreas, I think.
Oh, yeah, do you know what? I think you're right.
Mission. Yeah.
I think you're right, yeah, he does crop up. Because he's got the girl with him, hasn't he? The annoying girl.
I remember in GTA 3, there was one of those missions, side mission where you had to get one of every type of car to a garage in the docks, sort of not far from where you are now.
Yeah, you're right. I can't remember where exactly the docks are, but yeah, it's funny actually. There was I was playing Mafia 2 the other day. Mm-hmm. I got it on PlayStation Plus, and there was a mission in that where you had to take this car to the docks and drive it onto a crane and leave it, and it goes off onto the. I was just thought, oh man, this is like deja vu. I tell you what, look at this. Just it's quite difficult to adjust the camera using the iPad version, but look at that view, man. Look at those. Oh dear, I'm pointing at the ground. Look at those buildings in the background. It's not exactly GTA 4, is it? But it still casts quite a nice impression of a city, doesn't it?
No, I mean it's quite right. I mean it did blow my mind in 2001, I have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a truly impressive game. The mission where you had to get all the cars to the garage. There was a security van, the group sex.
Group sex, yeah, that's a consistent joke that they're keeping going all the way into GTA 5 from looking at the trailers.
And I only ever saw one of them in my entire playthrough in a mission when it was supposed to be there. I couldn't get them to spawn for the life of me, so I actually restarted the game.
Well, it was this one, wasn't it, that had the bug that could, like, a game-killing bug? Or was it... no, it was San Andreas, wasn't it, I think? There was... no, it was this one. I think there was a gang. You had to shoot like 10 guys from this one gang.
Hmm.
And it was glitched. And sometimes they just wouldn't turn up. And if that had happened to you, then your game was knackered and you had to start again.
Oh, man.
Which was pretty bad. I honestly have to check if it was this game or another one. But it was definitely a GTA, and it definitely was a problem.
Yeah, so yeah, I think I remember saying about that. But I mean, it is rare. 'Cause, I mean, usually the Grand Theft Auto games, certainly, I've always thought them as quite solid. I've never had any problems like that. I mean, when Rockstar released Red Dead Redemption, it started out with quite a few graphical glitches and some problems like that.
Yeah,
they kind of stamped it out soon enough. I think that's generally to be commended. The games are pretty solid. You know, they're not.
I guess the problem is when this one came out, it was literally stamped on a disc. Nobody had online. So that was the problem. If you had that bug, they would have patched it. Now it'd probably be a day one patch on a modern console, but on a PS2, sorry folks, it doesn't work. You know.
Yeah, I mean it must break your heart as a developer when there's a bug like that. I mean now you can patch it, so it's less of a big deal. But yeah, back then it must be pretty heartbreaking to spend all their time on that. But you know they didn't find that in testing, or you know, or it got missed. It was found they weren't able to do anything about it. Yeah, it must be difficult.
Yeah, I mean that is the beauty of the. I mean, some people say that the problem is it, you know, it leads to laziness, doesn't it? You don't have to bother to make sure your game's 100% before it goes out the door. But you know, on the other hand, you don't get stuck with game-killing bugs that you can't repair. Was that the train? Yes. He's got run over by a train.
I think it was GTA 3. I used to try and take cars down into the subway, and
I'm not sure there is a subway in GTA 3 as far as I can remember. I think you're thinking of GTA 4. You could get the cars into the subway on GTA 4.
I feel like it was an earlier one, but I might be mistaken. But yeah, maybe it was GTA 4, and you ram the trains head on. That was always good fun. I liked doing that.
Man, look at this train. Wheels aren't even going round. So tell you what, I mean, this city was not really big enough to actually worry about taking a train around.
No, it always seemed. I mean, it was just one of those things that added a bit of sort of life to the world. But yeah, it was fairly pointless. You never actually needed to use it. It was always quicker just to steal a car and drive wherever you're going.
Yep. Ooh. Oh my god. It's very difficult to play this on this iPad, I have to say. I'm making excuses now.
To be fair, that post came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, they jump out on you. It's a well-known thing that GTA lampposts jump out at you. Oh,
this sort of junction here, this intersection, it reminds me of a similar intersection in GTA 4.
Well, I don't even know why I've got the cops after me. I obviously wasn't paying attention there, but... Oh man, an iconic loading screen. Actually, I don't even think that was the same screen that you had in the original version, though, was it?
No, it wasn't. No, I don't think it was. Although... No, I think it might have been, actually, because I think my PC version's got the same screen.
Ah, yeah, fair enough.
This is the 10th anniversary edition, I think, actually.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
The graphics have been sort of spruced up a bit.
But I say it's amazing. I'm holding this like a device in my hand that you used to have to buy a whole home console to play.
I mean, if you'd just shown that, I mean, I've always been fairly into tech, even when I was sort of a bit younger, like 2001. And if you'd have told me that in 10 years' time you'd be able to have that, like, not let alone on a tablet, which I wouldn't know what it was, but on your phone, which I would have had some comprehension of. I wouldn't have believed. I literally wouldn't have believed you. I don't think. I would have thought it was nonsense.
No, it's quite incredible to think that GTA 4 came out in 2008, which means we could only be 5 years away from GTA 4 on your phone or iPad.
Yeah,
that's just like a staggering thought, isn't it? It just.
Yeah, it certainly is. So well, I feel like we've probably done this island to death now.
Yeah, we're just going round and round in circles. Unfortunately, I should probably have unlocked a bit more. But yeah, this is unfortunately all we've got. So yeah, well, rather than just keep driving around, I guess we wrap it up, yeah?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, this is GTA 3, out in 2001. This was the game where it changed the game, not just for the series, but probably for the game's market. I think on Metacritic it's still pretty much the highest rated PlayStation 2 game. And I mean, this was the reason I bought a PlayStation 2. I saw my cousin playing it and thought, well, I mean, I'd loved GTA 1 and GTA 2, but I don't know if I was a little bit disaffected with video games at the time. Maybe I was just discovering women. But, you know, GTA 3 came out and I bought a PS2 off the back of it, and didn't have to worry about women for quite a long time after that, which was good.
What you picked up in your car, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so, yeah, that's GTA 3. So look out for another retrospective soon, I would say.
Cool.
Bye bye.
Bye now.